So today we are going to be doing a recap of my 2023 year. This year has been a very mermaidy kind of year for me. I really wanted to make something very unique and different. At the time of this video, there is actually a 40% sale. And then around the time of September, I actually started to feel like really overwhelmed. Happy Christmas, everyone, to everyone who celebrates it. And to anybody who doesn't, then happy 25th of December. I hope you're having an amazing day. Hi angels, if you are new to my channel, I am the artist Ionea. I draw a lot of pink artwork and I really love to draw things like witches, mermaids and fairies and also cats. I have an Etsy shop as well as my own website shop, and I also have a Patreon where I send out happy mail and stationery boxes every month, and this will include things like stickers and prints and notebooks. Okay, so today we are going to be doing a recap of my 2023 year. When I was researching all of this and looking back through the year, I was really surprised at how much stuff I'd actually got done. I had forgotten about a lot of it, especially like all the stuff in the beginning of the year. To start the year off, I redecorated my studio with things like these pink crates and also a pegboard, which you can't see. I also rearranged everything so that I could have a really nice looking packing table for my vlogs where I package all of your orders. Later in the year, I got a storage unit. This was so that I could store more things like my oracle decks and tote bags. I also was thinking about the future because I was thinking like if I was going to make t-shirts and things myself, then I would need somewhere to store them. Also in the beginning of the year, I worked on February with Mrs. Butter D, Daniela. This was a prompt list called February Garden, and for this I made 8 fairy artworks. My favorite art pieces from this collection were the ones that were like trinket style fairies, like this moonflower fairy and this starflower jasmine fairy. This was some of my favorite artwork from this year, and after February, I did a huge shop update which included some of my fairy artwork as prints, stickers, and sticker sheets. And I also made some fairy washi tape, and I also released my first ever acrylic standee, which was my Wisteria fairy. Also in February, not like majorly, well, not really art business related at all, but I went to see Titanic in the cinema for like the first time on the big screen, and it was the best experience ever. I cried so much, and I will never forget like how magical that feeling was to just be there and see it in the cinema. Then in May, I worked on Mermaid, where I did a prompt list called Mermaid Lagoon, and I worked on this on myself. By myself, I didn't collaborate with anyone at this time. I made 13 artworks of my OC, my new OC at the time, Ocean. And these mermaid artworks were honestly, I think I've said it before in other platforms and maybe in like past vlogs, but they were honestly my favorites of this year. They had everything that I was trying to make them, and they came out looking exactly how I wanted them to. So I was just overall very, very happy with this collection. But don't get me wrong, because I still feel that when I've drawn something and then I look back at it like just after I've drawn it, then I will most of the time not really like it at all. But then like if I give it a few days or if I look at it in the future, I will like it a lot more. And there were still some things in the mermaid collection that I did for 2023 that weren't my favorite. So it's still like hit and miss. I think that's very natural. They were still, that collection was just my favorite. Around May, June time, I actually did another shop update, and this was quite a big shop update as well. I included prints and stickers of Ocean, and I also released my brand new Oracle deck, which was the Mermaids Oracle deck. This is my favorite Oracle deck that I have worked on so far. I'm noticing like a theme within myself that the mermaid stuff, the mermaids, is just really like makes me very happy, and the fairies and the witches obviously, but the mermaids are just, this year has been a very mermaidy kind of year for me. This mermaid deck is doing so well in the shop, and it makes me so happy to see you guys loving it as well. I also released a brand new product into my store around this time, which I had been wanting to do for a while, and I was so excited for it, and this is my phone grips. I actually had a bit of an issue where I couldn't end up selling them on Etsy for too long, but they are back in my shop, so I'm very, very excited that I'm back to like selling them again. I made 4 different designs and 2 of them very similar. One was a gradient pink to yellow moon, and the other one was just a plain yellow moon. And the thing that made them so special was they have these little like star charms at the bottom, like a connector charm. I really wanted to make something very unique and different, but also something very like witchy. The 2 other foam grips that I released were the Summer Seashell and the Lilac Butterfly. If you are interested in any of these, they are up in my store right now. And at the time of this video, there is actually a 40% sale going on right now in my website shop and also in my Etsy. I think you can also find everything in my shop on Instagram. Sometimes I struggle with it to see if like it's actually visible to everyone. And with a 40% discount, this is on my website automatically. So the prices won't show with like a strike through or anything like that, but when you add it all to the basket, the discount will be applied. 2023 was such a big year for me in adding a range of new products to my shop. Another one of these products that I worked on was a silver foil washi tape. And I did 2 designs of this, and I released this as well with the big mermaid shop update. One of the designs was like a mermaid, seashell, ocean type washi tape, and the other one was my grumpy witch cat. Some other products that I made this year towards the end of the year were tote bags and pins and notebooks. I got all of these through Vogue Race, and it made me so happy because I really just wanted to experiment with new products. I also released 3 new mini oracle decks. 2 of them have 20 cards in each pack, and one of them has an original 10 card amount that I did for the Fortune mini decks, which were the original mini oracle decks. And another product that I worked on and released was a complete collection of all of my Procreate brushes that I have made. And I was so happy to see how well these did and how much everyone loved them. After I had released the notebooks towards the end of the year in one of my shop updates, I also added a new tier and kind of like rearranged all of my Patreon tiers to include monthly stationery boxes. This was like a huge milestone for me. It's something that I've been wanting to do since like forever, since I basically opened Patreon, and I finally felt like it was the right time. So for artwork, some other types of artwork that I created this year was a lot of fan art. This year had so many different types. First, I think it was that I drew the live action Ariel when the new Little Mermaid film was released. Then towards the end of the year, I started rewatching The Vampire Diaries, and it really made me want to make some Stelena artwork. I also had planned to do like a bunch of other characters, but I just never found the time, and this feels like a running theme for me. And then I also actually did a lot of different types of fan art for my Happy Meals on Patreon. And I thought it'd be fun to go through all of the different themes that I did this year to look back on together. So for January, I did Cupid's Bakery, and I also included a little Draculaura and her bat plushie print. I really wanted to release all of these in January so that everyone had that kind of like Valentine's artwork in time for February, because Valentine's was like so early in the month. Then in February, I actually did a fairy theme with all of my February artwork. This was probably one of my favorites this year, one of my favorite themes. Then in March, I did The Little Green Witch. I had been watching Arrietty, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically about these little people, and it just made me so happy and feel so inspired that I really wanted to make my own little character. I also really wanted to try experimenting in a different color palette, and with one that I didn't normally go for. So that's why it kind of ended up being like this green witch, very green color palette. And in April, I did Coffee Witch, and I was still experimenting with different colors. And I did this brown color palette. You can actually see the artwork here. that I really, really loved. This surprised me because I'm usually like naturally drawn to drawing a lot of pink color palettes. Then in May, of course, I did a mermaid theme and I included my artworks from Mermaid of my OC Ocean. And for June, I worked on a Hello Kitty theme, which started off like the main fan art themes of the year. And so in July, I continued with fan art and I actually worked on Bratz. And I was so happy for this because I'd been wanting to do this for so long and I just never have got around to actually doing them. And then in August, because it was like my birthday month and I really love Sailor Moon, I decided to do another Sailor Moon theme. My first Sailor Moon theme was last year and I loved it so much and I really wanted to do it again this year. And then around the time of September, I actually started to feel like really overwhelmed. And so I decided for September that I was just going to take a break and not do like the Happy Mail themes or artworks. I was still posting updates and stuff like that. I really needed this though at this time because it had begun to get really stressful for me. I was feeling very worried about my art business because sales had been low and I know that they get lower in the middle of the year, but I was still feeling pretty down about it. And I even did a YouTube video on this and you guys were so kind to me. I had so much support as well from all of my Patreon members and I honestly feel like they're just like my best friends. It's just I tell them everything and I feel like they're just always there to support and help me with whatever I'm going through. So I'm really happy with like the little community that I've built over there. If you are on my Patreon, you guys know that I love you, or if you've been on my Patreon in the past, you know how much I love you guys. Then in October, of course, I started my Patreon themes again and I actually worked on a Monster High theme, which I loved so much because I got to do the whole like trinket style again. And then in November, I decided to take a break from the fan art and I worked on an Astrology Witch theme, which was a very purple kind of color palette. And to the end of the year, I finished off this month of December with a snow fairy theme. Moving on to more stuff that happened this year, I can't actually remember how many followers I had on Instagram last year in 2022, but I do know that I'm ending 2023 with 29,000 followers. I'm still really hoping to get to 30k, but I'm almost like comfortable and we'll just kind of see what happens. And when it happens, I will do a Draw the Senior style. I've actually already started to look at my current Draw the Senior style and be very much like, I think I want to do another one. I want to start it again. I just can't wait to see how my following and stuff like that changes over the next year. I also reached 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. I was so ecstatic and happy when I saw this. I also got monetized this year on YouTube, so that was another thing that made me extremely happy. And one of my vlogs from this year actually ended up reaching over 2,000 views, which was just insane. This year, I also collaborated with some really amazing artists that I really, really admire. And for one of these other collaborations I worked on was the Witchtober prompt list. We had so many of us hosting this challenge. It was so much fun. Sadly, I wasn't able to make as many pieces as I wanted to because I was really going through a difficult time mentally around this time. But I made some really nice connections with these artists. And also Lana J followed me on Instagram and it literally felt like one of the best days ever. If you don't know who Lana J is, this is her Instagram and I have loved her art for so long now. Going back, at the beginning of the year, I also received my Lord Grizz art book. She is another amazing artist that I love so much. And I'd been waiting for this to arrive for a while and I was so excited when it finally came. And it was just so nice to read her book and see like her whole art journey. Also on Instagram, I started doing Instagram lives again. And this ended up failing a little bit because of my internet. The first one was really good and then the second one just kept cutting out. And honestly, it kind of makes me like a bit anxious and it kind of put me off doing more of them because I feel really scared it's going to happen again. But it is something that I really want to figure out because it's something I want to do consistently. Some of my end of the year achievements for 2023 included making my brand new 2024 calendars. I really wasn't sure that I was actually going to be able to make these. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the funds to do this. But in the end, I was able to, and I'm so happy that I was, because last year making my first ever calendars was one of the best experiences ever. So I'm so glad I got to do it this year as well. And I've mentioned this in this video, but at the end of this year, I also launched my brand new shop website where I have my own online shop now, which has been so exciting. And I'm selling a lot of exclusive items in there, which aren't actually in my Etsy store. I also very recently opened up subscriptions on my Instagram where I plan to post step-by-step sketches and kind of like similar content to Patreon. So like sketches, work in progresses. I'm thinking about maybe in the future, if I get a few more people on there, then I'll also start doing like exclusive lives. And for December, right now when I'm filming this, I still haven't completed these things, but hopefully when you're watching, they are complete. What the f was that? I'm planning on releasing a new handmade Zodiac Witches Oracle deck. This will be all of my Zodiac Witches, and it will be 12 cards because it will be the 12 Zodiacs. I'm also drawing the Powerpuff Girls for my January Happy Mail. So if you want any of that kind of artwork, then that is going to be from the 1st of January that you can sign up and get all of those. As you may have seen, I am also drawing a new series, which I'm calling my Disney Witches. This is basically Disney princesses or Disney girls as witches in the kind of like trinket style that I love to do. So far I have done Mulan and Ariel and Rapunzel, and for my next one I think I'm going to be working on Sleeping Beauty. And when you're watching this, hopefully, fingers crossed, I have all of those posted onto my Instagram, or at least my Patreon. I feel like I've accomplished a lot this year, and I really feel like I need to continue to do these yearly recaps to see how far I've come, because I think it's really easy for us all to not appreciate all of our efforts, and I feel like it's easy for us to lose sight of all of the things that we've achieved. I'm really excited to see what 2024 brings, and I'm going to be posting the plans for 2024 vlog very soon. This is going to outline all my projects, all my plans that I have in mind for 2024, and everything that I really hope to be able to complete. And it's going to be so nice to look back at the end of the year and do a recap and see what I actually managed to do. I'm feeling very hopeful right now, and I hope that at the end of 2024, I don't look back at this and think, oh no. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Again, I just want to say, if you celebrate it, a very, very happy Christmas to you. I hope that you have had an amazing day, and even if you don't celebrate Christmas, I really hope that you have had an amazing year. If you managed to make it to the end of this video, please leave me a little cloud emoji, as you guys know how happy it makes me to see that you have watched the whole vlog through. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!